Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Maps come with me. No. When do we start?
Well, you always aim yours at me.
Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast, the podcast where I get farted at, apparently.
Hey, happy Thursday.
No. Opposite of, you've ruined everything.
I have not ruined a thing.
Hey, sorry.
Listen, I'm sick. There was the snowstorm yesterday. It's been a cacophony of events.
Sorry that we're late this week. There was a scheduling thing, and then there was a snowstorm of death.
It wasn't that bad. It was a foot of snow. I will read for you the following text message conversation.
I said don't die.
Zach and I. It was actually the first time you showed any real bit of compassion towards me in some time, so I was kind of taken aback by it.
I'm not your mother. I don't need to show you compassion.
Are you sure about tomorrow? I'm worried about you driving over here. I said we could correct them all on Thursday. Is it all right if I break into your house? You said to drop off some reading stuff. I can stop in at 10. I'm on my way back from a game. This is on Tuesday night when we normally record.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool.
I've gone balls out.
That's not related to this conversation.
Fair enough. You tweeted out something interesting today, which I feel the need to take off your hands, and that is your Jack Kirby stationery that you found a piece of. How did you get a piece of Jack Kirby stationery?
His grandson. If shops had an option of ordering kind of like a package of Jack Kirby stuff.
How can you know this is legitimate Jack Kirby stationery? It wasn't some paper that they just threw his name on.
It's from his grandkid. I mean, I imagine I was saying stuff like that's so cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure there's a stack.
Would it upset you if I came into the shop and doodled on it, or
I'd punch you in the teat?
Wow,
teat punch. Yeah, so I have a bunch of Jack Kirby stuff. There's some prints, some bumper stickers from apparently '97, and a few other odds and ends that I got sent with kind of like a loot crate for stores of Jack Kirby things.
I saw you lay out some of that stuff on the Pit Stop arcade game.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Definitely check it out. So I was thinking about adding a new segment to the show.
You were telling me this.
I didn't tell you what it was, though.
Well, no, you teased me. You said, I think I want to add a new segment to the show. And I said, what is it? And you said, I won't tell you until we're doing the show.
Because this is also going to involve our sound guy, a weekly or semi-weekly, depending on what's happening in the world.
Like a bi-weekly?
Depending on what's going on. Of Jared's Sports Report.
Oh, that'd be fun. You just want me to talk about the Patriots losing.
No, I offered you a segment. I offered you a Jared's Sports Reports.
Yeah, sure.
With plural. I wanted it to be all S's. Sports Reports with Jared's.
Yeah, I could do that.
You want sports reports?
Yeah, I'll do sports reports.
Okay.
Here's your first sports report. Patriots lost. Let's move on. We've won 5 Super Bowls in the last 16 years. Stop bitching, New England fans. Deal with it. So what? It's the first one in the history of the city of Philadelphia. Zach actually watched the game and shed a little tear. And then he was also crying because Philadelphia was going to burn itself to the ground. By the way, Philadelphia, stay classy.
Doing.
Why in the world are you looting? Did you see some of these things out of Philadelphia?
Why did that one guy eat horse manure?
Yes, there's a guy eating horse. They were actually ripping light poles out of the ground. Who needs to Crisco them when you can just uproot them? They also looting convenience stores. By the way, is there nothing more dumb in the world today than somebody taking a selfie as they loot a convenience store and post it on Twitter?
But you know what? They weren't Wawas.
They weren't Wawas.
They knew where to... This is the line. No Wawas.
But they also ripped down the awning at the Ritz-Carlton.
Did they rip down or did they just collapse
They collapsed it, same difference. Somebody stole an ostrich from the zoo and rode it.
I didn't see that one. I believe you.
It may have been a parody account. I don't have a picture of it, but I'll find the... I'm just going to look on Twitter and we'll look up Philly ostrich. So really,
ostrich. People
in Philadelphia are lucky to be alive today.
I don't know. Do you want that segment? Do you want a sports reports?
Yeah.
Plural? What's your sports reports?
I'll give highlights of sports.
You don't got to do it every week.
No. If something pertinent comes up or there's questions.
I won't have them because I won't be watching them. But I'll hear some sports reports.
I wouldn't be shocked. Yes, you will hear them. You won't know anything that anyone's talking about.
I don't know. Jason Kidd.
Oh, this is unfortunate.
That was weird, right?
The Philadelphia Zoo did tweet out that there were rumors of an alleged ostrich ride through the city, and there was no ostriches removed from the zoo.
Were you not surprised Jason Kidd got fired?
No, not really.
I was.
He's an okay coach, but I mean, changes had to be made.
Yeah, so there's your sports reports. We'll incorporate that later into the show.
How about this? I've got a better idea. Instead of sports reports, Jared's news of the weird. And I'll come in with a different odd news story every week. Something that you don't normally read or hear about. Let's move to the news.
Okay, the news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
The Fox-Disney merger won't be happening anytime soon, so don't be looking for X-Men in the Avengers movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair notice.
That's kind of the news. I mean, the deal's going to go through, but it's going to have to go through a lot of legalese. It's not happening anytime soon. This is why Fox is still announcing things, since they're still technically a studio. Might as well try and make cash if you can. But don't be looking for, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four to be popping up in Avengers 3 or 4.
I wasn't really...
Why aren't your hopes set high?
Because I've seen DC movies, and I'm constantly brought back to ground. Which, by the way, I can't wait to talk about the Deadpool trailer.
Just because of the mustache gag?
That was wonderful.
That is good. Video game news. News we don't talk about a lot. Do you smell weed? Is someone smoking weed in this neighborhood?
No, I don't smell weed.
I smell weed. It's not us.
No, it's not us. That's weird. All right.
I smell weed.
Anyway, I can't smell anything. I'm sick.
Oh, that's fair. Actually, why am I asking you? Super Mario Brothers, Mario himself, Mario, full name, not a joke, stupid name.
Yes.
There is going to be a Mario animated movie. Nintendo has always been kind of gun-shy about doing movies ever since the Super Mario Brothers movie is the worst thing you've ever seen in your life.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's real bad. Do the Mario. Don't do the Mario. It's a sad movie. But yeah, Nintendo was dipping their toes back into the idea of, there's money here.
You know what movie I don't want? I don't know if I want a Mario movie. You know what movie I do want? I think if they did it right, it'd be a cool movie. Do a Zelda movie.
I know that's what you were going to say, but you're going to take a character that doesn't talk and there's all kinds of different timelines and all that?
Set it around Link. I think you could have some fun with that.
I don't think there's a supporting cast there to make it work. It works if you're playing a game because you're just one guy, but if you're trying to set it in the realm of...
I also love how it's always like Legend of Zelda, but the game centers around Link.
Yeah, I don't think that would work. I also don't think this Mario movie is going to work. Because...
It'd be a lot better than a Dig Dug movie.
Yes, it would be better than Dig Dug. What a weird bar you set for this.
Yep.
I think it's going to be dumb and bad, because you're either not going to capture the spirit of it, or you are.
Animated or live action?
Animated. In either way, it's going to be, both those options of capturing it or not are bad options.
Remember the Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I was working at a game store in college, that was on constantly. That's why I said do the Mario.
Yes. I thought you were also talking about the movie, the bad live action movie.
They're both bad.
Wasn't it Captain Lou Albino who played Mario?
Yes, it was.
That was a good pull.
I couldn't have pulled that. You know what? I couldn't have pulled that name out if you, gun to my head. Couldn't have pulled that out, but once you said it, yes, it was him.
Wow. I feel like I'm smart today.
Conan the Barbarian.
That was on TV the other day.
Is gonna be on TV in the future. On internet TV. On Amazon.
But he's a barbarian, not an Amazonian.
I want to punch you.
I'm on point, man. These cough drops, orange vitamin water, and cough medicine I've been taking. I am on point.
Conan the Barbarian is coming to Amazon Prime, baby. TV. No Arnold.
Jason Momoa?
No, that's done.
Oh. That was the one that was on. That also had...
Never saw it. I have no opinion on it.
Stephen Lee or Stephen... Someone, I can't remember.
Never saw the movie. I can't yay or nay. It's based on... I didn't see
Not
it.
nearly as good as the original with James Earl Jones turning into that snake.
That wasn't good. That was weird and bad.
It was a good movie.
Not that part.
The Wheel.
Also a bad part of that movie. Confusing.
Very confusing.
I don't know. I'm all about it. Because we'll see what they do with it. I'm not really a Game of Thrones guy. I've read the books and I've seen a good number of the seasons, but I'm just not a gore person.
You think it's going to be violent and gory?
I'm sure it's going to be violent, but I'm sure it's just going to be this ridiculous guy he's going to be
super big.
I was going to say medieval James Bond.
No,
if you're going to do it week to week.
That's not how Conan operates. Remember, they did Hercules and Xena for the longest time in syndication.
Whoa, for the longest time.
For a moment, I didn't know if you were trying to
Whoa.
Okay, so you're ruining Billy Joel for me, which is really incredibly sad. But I didn't know for a second there if you were trying to do the Xena or Hercules theme, or if you just were...
I couldn't tell you what those were.
But they did Hercules...
Gun to my head.
I don't know either. I can't remember them. But they did Hercules and Xena for the longest time. Damn it.
Shut
up! I'm going to beat you to death.
Stop stabbing me.
Well, the guy just shut up. But like I said, those were in syndication for a while, and they were pretty well received. So I think you could find a way to do it and not be medieval James Bond. You wouldn't have to do. You could do long story arcs. You could do season-long story arcs of Conan. You know.
I'll watch it. I'm all about it.
You love you some Conan, don't you?
I don't. I know people that do, but
you're gonna watch it anyway.
I'll give it a shot at least.
That's awfully fair of you.
I'll watch that thing that is not costing me any more money than Amazon Prime already does.
Fair.
I mean, I kind of want to watch Man in the High Tower, but I never got around to that.
I think I'd be more excited for this Conan deal than a Lord of the Rings prequel.
Yeah, we got that. We got 18 hours of that. That's enough. I'll watch episodic Conan, and I don't really care for Game of Thrones. I know it's popular, but, well, gorier than I prefer.
What, you don't like seeing people's heads cut off every week?
No, it's not my thing.
Then you would have not done well in the French Revolution.
Well, I don't, because I know people are, like, grossly opposed to it. Like, gore. I'm just like, it's not for me.
I don't like gratuitous gore. I like cinematic, funny gore, but I don't like visceral gore.
I'll take, like, Evil Dead gore. Like, there is a hose of blood. Like, that's funny.
Yes.
But I don't want to be like, he crushed a man's skull and his brains realistically were also crushed and fell out. It's not my thing. Speaking of Game of Thrones, oh boy, get ready for this. Too much of a good thing.
Are they making more Game of Thrones?
No. Game of Thrones creators, the duo that does it didn't write down their names, will be writing and producing a number of Star Wars movies.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, but also, when Disney starts their streaming service, they will be developing, and this is in quotes, a few different Star Wars series. Nay, I say. I love Star Wars, but too much it can happen.
If you get ice cream every night, you're going to get sick and tired of ice cream. But you don't like sweets, so it doesn't really matter.
A steak would have been a more appropriate metaphor. Like, if you had a steak every night...
You probably wouldn't get tired of that.
You would never get tired of steak.
It's just like I was saying, if you had whiskey every night, you would never get tired of... You would get tired of whiskey.
You're really running yourself into a ground. You're like, damn it, you like the things you like.
Yes.
You're right, I wouldn't get tired of those things.
If you had a steak...
Financially, I would.
If you had the resources to have steak and whiskey every night, you would, and you would be dead at 45.
That honestly sounds fine.
Wow. 15 years left.
At least I died happy.
With a steak and whiskey in hand.
Yeah, why not? I don't know, that sounds like a lot. Like, there's already been a whole other trilogy announced.
You know what those things do.
I'm afraid that you're going to have a terrible pun.
No, I don't have any terrible puns.
Okay, good, then continue.
They make money.
Oh, yes, they do.
So that's...
I like Star Wars quite a bit.
I'm just doing my drugs here.
How's your nerd cocaine?
Oh, wow. What a rush.
You
Got a little bit extra in there.
I want Star Wars, but I want a manageable amount of Star Wars, I guess.
You don't want more Star Wars than is necessary.
You know what happened the other week? But I don't know what the press was around it. Star Wars had its first same-sex kiss in the comics.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for them.
Not with characters that you've seen in the movies, but they did have their first same-sex kiss, and I saw that it was like, I wonder how much people are going to flip their shit, and then I didn't see anything about it. I'm like, oh, so none.
They didn't have time.
Yeah.
Because they were too busy. They were too busy reading about Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor.
Right.
I didn't read it. I only saw the headline and said, I'm going to learn from everyone else flipping out about it.
I read the whole interview. It's so off the wall. How can any of it? It's so insane.
That can't be true. That can't not be true.
I don't know. I don't know what's real anymore. It's kind of where I landed on that. Except that Marlon Brando would have sex with a mailbox. That's the only thing I walk away from going, yes.
So, here's the thing.
Also, Michael Jackson's plastic surgery. There's so much. Just read it. It will blow your mind.
But
whether it's real or not.
There was a funny tweet that said, this tells you what kind of days that we live in. There's a story about Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando having sex, and everybody just goes, okay.
Yeah. It's a weird interview. I recommend reading it and just...
Who was it with?
Quincy Jones, music producer.
Oh, I know who Quincy Jones is.
Father of Rashida Jones, which I didn't know until very recently.
Oh, okay.
That one was new to me. I was like, how? How did I not know this? Weird. Yeah, just dive in and take it for what it is. I don't have anything that weird in this week's stories unless you want to count Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando, stars of the Superman franchise, doing each other.
Did it happen during the filming of Superman?
No, because Brando wasn't in 3.
Oh, that's right. Anyway, that's I don't care.
Good news, I guess.
Yes, please.
Let's just, DC is going to be releasing a number of series of all ages books for younger readers, of YA readers, and I think they're like middle readers. What is that called?
Tweens?
Either way, like people that don't read good words yet.
Oh, millennials.
It's you. You count as a millennial.
Do I really? 1984?
We've been over this so many times.
I thought it was part of Generation X.
No, you're not.
Or Y.
You're a millennial. Deal with it. But yeah, DC is going to be releasing a series of all ages books, which I fully support. It feels a little bit weird that comics have kind of gotten away from the idea of, all-inclusive readership. So if you have that, do it. Do more of that. Get more people into the books. Hook 'em young. Stop looking at millennials. I'm trying to cover for you.
Yeah, Generation Y, the millennials. God damn it.
Yeah. That was a whole lot of me filling.
I didn't want it to be true.
We've gone over this so many times.
I'm in the denial stage of grieving.
For a couple of months?
I'm bargaining. You can't rush my grief process, Zach. Now I'm getting to anger. Thanks. You've moved me forward.
Last Jedi is going to get adapted into a comic book, not surprising. But what is surprising is they're going to have supplementary material that is going to count as canon.
Interesting.
That's really all I have to say on it.
Probably more stuff on Acto.
Act 2.
Act 2?
I don't know.
Act 2. That's not what was in the Justice League movie.
No, there was no Act 2.
Took me a while to get there, but I got there.
I understood where you were going with it. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I don't really give half a crap about adaptation because I've seen it. But if you're going to give me something I haven't seen that counts, I'll read it. Act 2.
Act 2.
Or Act 2. I don't know. Where
Planet Jedi.
It's Ireland, okay? It's just Ireland.
Wow. They totally lied to us then, because it was supposed to take place in a galaxy far, far away.
Batman, tying that up, baby. We've talked a lot about marriages recently.
We did talk about Batman getting hitched.
He'll be getting married in issue 50.
Who's he marrying?
Catwoman.
Oh, it's about time.
Side note.
He put a ring on it.
Yeah, I don't remember how that song goes. I guess he wanted it, and then he did put a ring on it.
Let's move on. Let's stop embarrassing yourself.
And, hey, guess who knows about all of these wedding shenanigans?
Let me guess, the Joker.
Fantastic, you got there.
That's really not that complicated. I'm sure that the Penguin is his +1. Maybe the Riddler is the DJ.
What music would the Riddler play? I feel like it'd be like weird, like Siberian pop music that no one would know.
No, I think the Riddler would probably play like...
Siberian pop!
No, he'd play Daft Punk.
Alright, I can roll with that.
French party music.
Before we get into trailers, still a few more hints and tidbits of news. Brian Michael Bendis guy that we keep on talking about for some reason.
He comes up all the time.
He's just been in the news. It's not my fault. He's a fine writer.
Yes.
He is going to be taking on a new DC book, Man of Steel. Not currently a title, so he's not taking anyone's job.
Should say he's starting.
Yeah, there's been other Man of Steel books before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where Bendis is going. Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
He has been tapped, potentially. This is rumor. Take it as a rumor. To play the Joker in the Martin Scorsese-produced 1980s Joker movie. Remember that?
No.
We haven't talked about that in a while.
Yeah.
It has been a while since we brought that up, but apparently that's still a thing. And apparently Joaquin Phoenix is the front runner.
To play the Joker?
The Joker.
How does Jared Leto feel about this?
I wish I knew 30 Seconds to Mars lyrics, because I bet I could come up with a fun one.
Okay.
But I don't know them, because I'm not angsty.
I'm glad that you're not angsty. I think it's important that you're not angsty.
Yeah. Because I got nothing. I don't know, I kind of saw that, I was like, cool? Why not?
I don't have anything. I don't really care.
Usagi Yojimbo. Black and white 1980s comic. I shouldn't really say that because it's still a black and white current day comic. Has been optioned for a television show for the first time. Mostly seen in Ninja Turtles cartoons and comics within the larger pop culture. But, option for a show. I'm all about it.
Well,
you're giving me so much.
I don't know anything about this thing. What do you want from me? If I were to, tell you that Jimmy Garoppolo became the highest paid player in NFL history today, you'd be like, who's that and how much?
Was he?
Yes, he was.
Who's that? How much?
It's $157 million over 5 years for the San Francisco 49ers. He's a quarterback who was traded away from New England. He was the backup quarterback to Tom Brady, who he now makes more money per year than Tom Brady does. And Tom Brady is the NFL MVP this year and a 5-time Super Bowl champion. I'm happy for you to have your little TV show with the people that you like from a Ninja Turtles comic.
Trailers, man. 1 million trailers. More specifically, 6. I considered doing trailer breakdowns, and then there were 6 trailers, so I said, no.
You have a life.
I said, let's just react to them.
Oh, that's right. You said
you
didn't do... It's not because you don't... It's not because you have a life, you didn't break them down. You just were lazy.
It's too many. That would eat the whole... That'd be too long of a show.
It would be too long of a show, you're right.
Let's hit him.
We've been down here in front of this microphone for almost 3 hours now.
No one knows that.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Let's hit him hard. Jurassic World. Didn't care for the trailer. It looks like Jurassic Park 2 wasn't very good of a movie.
Yeah, standard fare. It's almost a rehash of Returning to the Island, and which they do multiple times.
The Indominus Rex is now smaller and gets into bedrooms, and
But why?
Care. It just reminded me of Jurassic Park 2.
What are these people going to learn that you don't go back to the island?
James Cromwell, baby!
Everybody goes back to the island. Every time people go back to the island, people die.
Sam Neill knows better. Alan.
Ugh,
Weird. Yeah, Jurassic World.
Jeff Goldblum knows not to go back to the island.
He's in this movie.
He is in this movie.
He was in an inferior sequel.
Maybe
so weird to talk bad about a Spielberg movie.
Maybe he'll get eaten this time. Maybe this is the time that Jeff Goldblum gets eaten.
He had a Super Bowl commercial where he was driving... What was that?
I don't know.
I didn't like that. Yeah, Jurassic World, kind of not grabbing me. I'll still probably see it. Without an extended spot, which surprised me, although I didn't call it, wish I said it on the show, so it was just more than you as my witness. Infinity War had a trailer.
It wasn't much of a trailer.
I dig it. We got a little bit of extra stuff in there. We get...
Cap has hand shields.
His shield, air quotes. Gauntlets.
Different armor for Tony Stark again.
Yeah, we get the nano armor, so we can kind of see it building around him, so that's cool. So we're gonna, as these movies have done, and I'm so glad they didn't start, balls to the wall. Like, look at what he could do with his armor, how they kind of built it up, piece at a time, we gotta make sure we up it every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that we're getting the, nanite armor.
Thor has an eye patch.
Did in the last movie. That's good.
Yeah.
I want it.
They already have your money.
The shields are stupid.
They already have your money.
That's not what I said. I'm free to critique. The shield was stupid.
We'll see how they play out.
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to get broken. Then he's going to get the real one, and then everything will be fine.
Called it. And Tony brings him the real one.
Venom had its first teaser trailer. A movie with no visual effects done that just wrapped a few weeks ago. Oh, boy.
I was not really impressed or blown away by this trailer.
No.
There's a lot of over-the-shoulder action, following, setup. There was more CG and special effects work put into the logo at the end of the trailer than there probably has been in the movie.
Yeah, this trailer didn't do anything for me. It was a rushed movie for some reason. I don't know why you had to rush it. But the movie's coming out in October. They just wrapped it.
Tom Hardy's laying in a hospital bed. He's in a CT machine.
A teaser's out. It reminds me a lot of the Spider-Man animated series, because they weren't dealing with, Spider-Man went off to war and then got a suit and then came back. In the animated series, they just had it as an alien kind of attached itself to the ship, and then a shuttle came back to New York, and then the alien did its own thing. So it feels like they're kind of doing that, which I'm not... the animated series is...
The Symbiont.
I haven't watched that show in a lot of years. I don't even know if there's a DVD of it out there. I remember seeing a lot of bootlegs of it in New York. Calling you out, Midtown Comics, for all your old bootlegs.
Wow.
You sons of bitches.
Oh, somebody's getting feisty.
Biggest store in the country. A lot of bootlegs. Hey, dog.
Hi, Kirby. Bye, Kirby.
I don't know. We'll see. It didn't do anything for me.
It didn't?
Hopefully it'll be a good movie. I don't want anything to be bad, but the teaser did literally nothing for me other than be like, that was rushed.
Yeah, it didn't have much of anything in it, really.
What else happened?
Jessica
Jones! Looks good!
Yeah, looks good. Looks interesting. I'm going to dive more into her backstory.
Welcome back. Hi, dog.
Good job, Kirby. Yeah, dive more into her backstory a little bit. Her kind of mystery now is herself, so that's interesting.
That's what the alcohol's for, to forget.
Yes. Are you trying to drink to remember or drink to forget? I don't tip you to be nice.
I do.
Or caring won't increase your tip or something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. I did enjoy that moment. Jessica Jones was one of the better Netflix series so far. I really enjoyed it. It looks like they're digging deeper into it. I like that they didn't say it flat out, but we know it is because it's been announced and photos have been released. That David Tennant is the Purple Man is back. All about it. He had his neck snapped. He's probably just some kind of subconscious thing in her brain. Deal with it. I'm all about it, though. It's a good show. Yep. I like the trailer. It looks sad.
Gritty. Not sad. Gritty.
They can be both of those things.
Sure they could be, I guess, but gritty.
And then the out of nowhere one that happened this week. I guess all these are mostly out of nowhere. I was like, how? Why? Super Bowl just happened. Why are there so many trailers? Deadpool 2!
Loved it.
Yeah, I'm all about it. They show a lot of flashes of stuff. We get to see Marina Baccarin. Hopefully she'll be doing her mutiny thing. We see a quick shot of Colossus, who looks totally different, but still good. We see a lot of Cable. I like the whole joke of them showing...
The green sleeve.
Yeah. Well, it's not even... It seems like it was painted, but yeah. I was really surprised Colossus was going to be in this movie just because this movie has a straight man.
But you like
And
Colossus.
I love Colossus, but Cable is already the straight man. Very extreme, the straight man.
Lots of breaking of the fourth wall in the trailer.
Well, Ryan Reynolds confirmed it on Twitter that he is wearing the same shirt that Chunk did in The Goonies, which starred Josh Brolin.
Yep.
Because we do see him in that. There's a fun Spinal Tap joke in there where Josh Brolin's Cable turns his gun up to 11. Have you ever seen Spinal Tap?
Yep, I have.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun
When they bring down the little people on the columns and they're dancing. Yes. Why don't you just make 10 louder? But 11's louder than 10.
I love that. That's such a good gag.
Like, why don't you just make 10 louder?
They haven't really explained Cable all that much what we've seen in the trailers. What I would truly, truly love, and what I think would be a lot of fun for them to do, is to explain Cable's backstory verbatim what it is in the comics, because it's so just batshit crazy and weird and dumb and nonsensical that I think it would be, especially like in the Deadpool universe, hilarious if you just said like, hey, this is what Cable is. He was born a baby to a clone of Jean Grey that later integrated with her and the Phoenix, and then he was sent into the future and infected with a techno-organic virus by Apocalypse, and then Scott Summers and Jean Grey went into the future to raise him for 11 years, and then his telekinesis had to be diminished based on the techno-organic virus taking over his body, and then he traveled back in time in the 90s to take over for the New Mutants post-Magneto, running things in the 80s, and so on.
Whoa. Totally lost me.
Yeah, right? That would be... How funny would it be if you just one monologue of this is Cable, and they said every bit of weird bullshit.
My head hurts.
Wouldn't it? No, I think that would be hilarious if they just did it straight.
My brain hurts right now.
You just gotta don't just say Cable's actual comic backstory, which is nonsense. Just do that. Would that not be funny?
I guess it could be funny.
Just say it straight and never mention it again.
Just like, this is Cable.
Here's his history. It's nonsense. It is total garbage nonsense. Also, he has a clone named Strife, who's very pointy. I'm not dealing with Strife. I just dealt with Cable.
I deal with Strife every week. I come over here and do this goddamn show.
That was enough of that. I still think we're getting the Juggernaut as a villain, at least temporarily.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Ooh, that was rough. What a bad movie, what a bad line based on a bad internet phenomenon.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know, I just want that. I want the Juggernaut.
Like a good Juggernaut.
I just want a big man in red running around being...
Head first into everything.
Yeah, guy, immovable object, can't be stopped once he gets going. That's what I want. Who is fueled by the crimson bands of the Sidorak.
Now we're talking.
He is fueled by the Sidorak, that's the thing.
The crimson bands of the Sidorak. They haven't reared their heads here in a while.
The Juggernaut isn't a mutant. He is fueled by...
the crimson bands of the Sidorak.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, not a mutant, as one may be led to believe. Part of why I also don't like X-Men 3. One of many reasons.
Anyway.
Is that the news?
I think that's the news.
Is that all the news? There was a lot of trailers.
There was a lot of news. There was a lot of trailers.
There's those dumb dice are... Oh, we don't talk Solo.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care.
I was lukewarm on it.
Underwhelmed. He really lost me, very early on when he's like, I was kicked out of the flight academy for being such a rebel, and I'm such a badass, and I think for myself.
Why do you have to tell these character traits of a character we already know?
I can't wait for 2 hours of posturing. Woo!
I also liked your point about Chewbacca having the double bandoliers because you have to have a new toy.
Yeah, he's not going to look like your old Chewbacca action figure. You got to have a new one.
Yes. Thinner, leaner, less gray hair.
It's like C-3PO with a red arm. You're just there to sell toys.
Please note that when we came back to the last movie, he had a gold arm.
Yeah, but it's still why he had the red arm.
Yes.
It was to sell more toys. And the same with Chewbacca with the dual bandoliers. It looks a little CG heavy for me.
George Lucas-y.
Yeah, it didn't have a good practical feel to it for what we saw in the trailer. My first reaction was like, oh, there's some stuff I haven't seen. Then it was like, oh, there's some stuff I haven't seen because it's heavily computer generated.
Also, you make a great point about the Millennium Falcon.
Did I?
Yeah. We see the Millennium Falcon clean and white and pristine.
Oh, yeah, I did make that point on Twitter. Yeah, why is it so... How did he screw it up so fast?
He's a bachelor, dude. He and Chewbacca, a couple of bros, running spice on the Kessel Run.
Running drugs, that old drug dealer Han Solo.
And they're just a couple of bachelors throwing some parties. That's why the place got dinged up, man.
Yeah.
Just think about that. You lived with some boys. You lived with your bros for a while when you were in Philly and New Jersey. I'm guessing that house at times was an absolute disaster.
I'm pretty clean.
Well, no, but I'm not saying that you're not a clean person, but that place was an absolute pit at times, probably.
I ate his pierogies once. I shouldn't have done that.
Uh-oh, the truth comes out.
He knows.
Uh-oh.
He left me a very passive-aggressive Post-it note.
You're wearing a Hoagie Haven shirt, by the way.
I am wearing Hoagie Haven. Jersey, baby!
You're all decked out today.
I'm all Jersey. Speaking of New Jersey, that's actually going to be a good segue. Hang on. Speaking of New Jersey, let's talk Kevin Smith for our Kevin Smith-a-thon. Worked it! No one cares but me. Okay, cool.
I was impressed. I set you up. I knew that you were wearing your Hoagie Haven shirt, and I was like, I'm going to lead you to the promised land, Zach.
All right.
And you followed me, and it made you look smart.
Let's just have a stinger. Stinger! Theme. Stinger.
It's Jared's Reading Corner.
Stingers and themes are different.
It works either way.
No, not really.
It absolutely does.
No.
Would you call it a stinger or a theme?
This would be a theme. I guess it could be a stinger. It's a stinger. You're right.
This week, we continue with week 3 of Kevin Smith-a-thon. Also, we're kind of late this week. Sorry.
Well, you know.
We try. And this week, we are getting away from Green Arrow, and we are going over to Batman, a 3-issue miniseries that Kevin Smith did with his teenage/20-year-old friend who runs his comic book store, Walt Flanagan, who hasn't done work for DC before this. He's done a little bit of comic book work, but this is kind of the first biggie. With Batman Cacophony. It's your segment. You review it.
Oh, okay. Well, and as we have modified ourselves to do, we're not going to go through it beat for beat. We'll give some general outlines. I thought it was a fun and interesting Batman story. And it's kind of a cool... I'm sure you did this on purpose. I'm going to give you credit. It's a cool follow-up because the main villain is Onomatopoeia, who makes himself known in the last Green Arrow stuff that we read.
Well, this is literally just Kevin Smith's stuff. Like,
yeah.
He has his own little connected universe. Yeah, it is very much connected with the Green Arrow stuff. Years later, so kind of banking on people knowing what he did before.
But he does mention it a little bit in there. He does talk about the Green Arrow. He does talk about... Connor, is it Connor?
Yeah, Connor Hawke.
Yeah, Connor Hawke being almost killed by Onomatopoeia. But we start out in Arkham Asylum with the Joker, who mentions that he has a merkin.
Yeah, and I do like that he throws it down later on. He's like, this is a bunch of crap. He's reading Ayn Rand.
Yes, he is.
And it's like, cool. But then later on, he's like, this is a bunch of crap. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yes. But the Joker's broke out of Arkham Asylum. Allegedly, it looked like by Deadshot, but oh no, Deadshot is shot in the head by another mysterious masked person.
Dead.
I know,
that
Joke
was
in
the
there.
joke in there, yes.
Yes.
It is a cool idea. Like, Deadshot has a helmet with kind of like 2 layers. Like, the first layer
is the Kevlar layer.
Yeah, and if that's punctured, then there is a film of blood that will spurt out, so you think that he's dead.
Yeah, and this is a suit still simulates, or it masks that he's still breathing, so he looks...
Yeah, it's really cool. I kind of like that idea.
I mean, who else liked that idea? Batman. Because he
did,
steals
yes.
it.
I thought it was a good idea.
No, I thought it was a very cool idea, and a neat execution of it. But you've got, the first part is just kind of springing the Joker and kind of meeting or re-meeting Onomatopoeia and seeing that he's responsible ultimately for the Joker being sprung.
I thought the Joker was a little weird at the beginning. He's like,
yeah,
I guess you can have sex with me now because you sprung me from jail.
Yes.
That was weird.
His line, I bought him from the top.
Yeah, that's a little cringeworthy.
Yeah. The middle part is actually, for me, like, it doesn't drag, but it's like, the whole middle part is Batman is trying to figure out, he's obviously going after the Joker, but he doesn't realize that the Joker is not the true villain in all of this. There's some selling of drugs with the guy who looks a lot like Penn from Penn and Teller.
It's Maxie Zeus, who, likes to pretend that he is a god from Mount Olympus based on his mental illness. And the middle of it kind of is dull because it's all about Maxie Zeus is trying to turn Joker toxin into a recreational drug.
Yeah.
And it's kind of boring to see a guy in a toga fighting the Joker because the Joker's mad about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I think the third act is where it really shines, and I think it's like the best part of the book, where Joker gets stabbed by Onomatopoeia, and Batman has a choice to make. Does he go after onomatopoeia or does he save the Joker? And it's a real interesting callback to some of the other stuff the Joker's done. Death in the Family, Killing Joke, because Commissioner Gordon's like, you have your opportunity right now, Batman. You don't have to kill him, you just don't have to save him.
It's like that moment of that movie. I don't have to save you. I don't have to kill you. I just don't have to save you and watch you die.
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, I'm not getting the dialogue right.
No, yeah. Who said anything about saving you? Anyway, enough. Now I'm going to punch you for doing bad Batman voice.
Skytrain.
Anyway.
I'm in a Skytrain.
Shut up or I'll pour your whiskey out.
No.
See, there you go. That got your attention, didn't it? But I thought it was real interesting for him to kind of go through that thought process. And then the conversation he has with Joker at the end really reminded me a lot of Killing Joke.
A little bit, yeah. There's part of my problem with this book, and also the next one that we're going to cover, that you're not going to get, which is, not a slight against you, is there are a lot of references. And you're right, that is a very much a Killing Joke reference. But there's a lot talking about, like, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, Dark Knight Returns, Killing Joke. Like, yeah, I read those things. What do you have to offer that isn't a reference? Because I know those already.
I thought this was fun, though. Like, it was a different Batman story.
I'm not against it. It also very much reads like the animated series to a point. We have, except for some of it, like, we have Mr. Zsasz in the beginning, who, if you don't know the character, he is a serial killer who does kind of a check mark on his body, or like a tally, I guess would be a better term. He does kind of like the 5 tally marks. And his skin is so covered in cuts that he's made on himself that he has to, I think what Batman calls an unholy bris.
Yes.
Himself.
He does.
But yeah, we get the end. The Joker lives, clearly. Batman goes to visit him in the hospital.
The Joker with a beard is kind of weird.
Yeah, there was some relative fan backlash about the coloring of the beard. There's weird fan backlash about certain things that I just don't give half a crap about. Like, the Joker has green hair, but his beard is black, and people were like, you're not green.
Yeah.
Shut up, I don't care.
Whatever.
But the two of them have a very candid conversation. Batman shows up as Matches Malone, which is a wonderful callback to, Batman being secretive. And it's just Batman with glasses and a toothpick and a mustache.
Yes.
And a perm.
Yes, and a perm. I do like that the Joker's like, well, if we're being totally honest with each other here, I totally saw your junk when you were changing into your Bat costume.
He is funny. Yeah, the two of them have a talk about, very Killing Joke-esque of, what's going to happen to the two of them. And the Joker's like, yeah, I kind of have to kill you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then once I kill you, I'll turn myself in and be self-medicated or medicated for the rest of my life.
But I kind of hate you. But, as we mentioned, we do have the villain of Onomatopoeia, who was in the other Green Arrow stuff, which hasn't really been used by any other creative teams. A little, and I do mean a little. It's mostly a Kevin Smith character. And we see that, the character has a home life. He has wife and kids, and within that environment, he also has a trophy room of, I want to kill masked vigilantes and take their cowls as my own trophies and blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean, you see one for the Green Arrow, but there's other ones. What do you got? Phantom Jockey, Buckeye, Skyrider.
It's not bad. The book itself is not bad. I think people... I'm going with kind of memory of the time. People are mostly on board for this one. They're less on board for the next one for reasons I don't really care about.
Black Canary one in there too.
Yeah. It's not a bad book. It's only 3 issues. I like the idea of Kevin Smith doing a mini versus being involved with an ongoing, because I don't feel like he can do the commitment to doing an ongoing.
I like the mini arcs better. I think they're better. They're more like a movie anyway. The first, second, and third act, 3 issues. I thought what was really cool is I didn't realize, like, in the writing process that there's an actual script.
Oh, of course.
Like that, I didn't realize that's how it works.
Have you not seen like a script before?
No, I hadn't.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the hardcover that we're reading out of has a script for, was it issue? Is it all of it or just issue 1?
It is for issue 3.
No, or issue 3.
Yeah,
I was wrong on all fronts. But yeah, it's certainly not bad. I like it a lot more than the Green Arrow book that we covered last week.
No, I think this was much better than last week. And not that I hated last week either, but this is, I don't know, it's cool.
It reads a lot like an animated series episode. Like, the dialogue you can see is very heavily influenced stylistically in that direction, which isn't a bad thing. I love the animated series, but I don't. It pulls me out a little bit when I can kind of go like, oh, this is the vibe you're going for. Like, you want this to be Kevin Conroy. Not necessarily you want this to be, I don't want to say unique or original. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It just feels like it was kind of cribbing his style.
It definitely does have the influences and feels of the animated series to it quite a bit. I mean, I can hear Mark Hamill's voice as the Joker in this.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good read. It was a fun read, and it was good Batman.
Yeah.
At least for me. Like, I don't have as much Batman knowledge and depth as you do, but I thought it was good Batman.
I don't mind it at all. It's a fine story. Relatively enjoyable. If you just want something that kind of stands out of continuity that doesn't matter, this is a good read. Especially if you kind of like, enjoy Kevin Smith stuff and all that jazz. I'd recommend it.
I like Onomatopoeia too. I think it's an interesting villain.
Yeah, he's something different, which, like, the character really hasn't existed much outside of what Kevin Smith has done with him. And I'd like to see more of the character, because we get hints of, like, oh, he is a guy with a normal family life, but why does he want to kill mass vigilantes? Why has he chosen this weird shtick of saying, like, blam every time he fires a gun? Like, there's more in there that would be interesting to dive into. We just haven't seen it yet. And we literally haven't seen it yet. We only have one more to go. We're still kind of unclear there.
Well, we'll see.
Well, I mean, I have, but yeah.
I'll see.
Yeah, and you'll go, why hasn't there been another one? There should be another one. But yeah, that's kind of Batman Cacophony. Welcome to the world of Kevin Smith using pretentious names for his titles.
I liked it.
Next week, The Widening Gyre. And the one that has been written yet, Bellicosity. Just stop it, man.
Hey, I got a widening gyre when I dance. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I have no clue.
Why did you dance?
I gyrated in a widening fashion.
Cool. But yeah, I'd recommend it. I think it's a good story, especially only 3 issues. There's a lot packed in there. It's good.
Quick read.
Yeah. So I guess in our Kevin Smith-a-thon,
I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, this is probably my, even counting next week, probably my second favorite thing that we're going to do.
After Quiver?
Yeah, after the first Green Arrow one. I probably like that the most, but this is probably second for me. And we'll base your review on it next week when we talk about The Widening Gyre.
Lot of questions, number one. Damn few answers.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Make it so.
So, letter for this week. I have been asked this many, many times. I don't know if you guys know this. I like the Ninja Turtles.
I'm aware, yes.
Shocking.
I had no clue.
Shocker.
I remember that one. The Shocker.
Yeah. The Shocker being a Spider-Man villain and nothing else. I have been asked many times, and I'll pass the question along to you. What do you think of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle designs for the upcoming TV show?
Well, see, I haven't been into any of the Ninja Turtles cartoons. I loved the Ninja Turtles when growing up.
So the cartoons, you son of a bitch?
Yes, but no, I'm talking about the new ones.
Yeah. That show went on for 10 years.
That was classic Saturday morning cartoon TV. I loved it. I loved the movies. I don't know. The design feels weird. There's something about, like, the Turtles were cool because the only way they were different was, like, looking at them as they were drawn and animated was just their bandanas and elbow pads.
Which was made for the show. Like, because everything originally was just black and white, and then starting with issue number 5, they colored everything red for the covers, but still kept the black and white aesthetic within.
Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Raphael being the leader. No, the song says Leonardo leads.
No, the other song, though, the song from the 1990 movie where they had the rap at the end, where they clearly had no research, says that Raphael's the leader, which caused many schoolyard brawls.
Raphael also said bitchin' at the end of that movie. Just going out there.
Damn!
Yes.
So many dams.
No, but like they're on the roof and they're like, what to describe? And Raphael's like, bitchin'.
My thought is, I'm not a big fan of the designs, but I'm not against them either. I didn't like the last round of designs.
Okay, I can do without, like, Splinter. Yeah, he's a rat. You don't need to make him look like a rat.
So yeah, Splinter is actively bad. But as far as the rest of them go, I don't care. It's fine.
You're not in a tizzy about African-American April?
As mentioned on this show,
AAA,
and I think episode 27, interview with Steve Levine, he mentioned that the girl that April was based on was black, because Kevin was dating a black girl named April at the time. So that's fine. Black April is fine because the girl that she's based on is black. Shut up, it's not like, oh, PC culture gone too far. The girl was black and now she's black for the first time. Get over it.
Maybe we can ask Jim Laird when we interview him for the 100th.
We'll deal with all of that.
Well, no, not about the Black April, but about the other.
We can ask.
He's drawn more turtles than anybody else.
Anyone else. I don't really care. It's going to be based on content. I didn't like the character designs for the last show.
I said Jim Laird, it's Jim Lawson.
I know. I was just going to skim over it.
Well,
I'm glad you corrected yourself.
I can't be totally dumb.
The last show is truly, truly amazing. That show dealt with things like the Giant Claw. Go look up that movie. They dealt with Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Like, that show wasn't just for kids. That show was a deep cut on a bunch of horror movies and a bunch of other stuff. Sometimes it fell really short, like when they did the Napoleon Dynamite episode. That is the worst. I remember we were really drunk one night, because I don't think we've mentioned it on the show. We used to live, like, directly across from each other in apartments. And there was one night I was like...
So I can't recall.
I was like, I'm going home, I'm watching cartoons, and you came over and you were like, this is an abomination. I'm like, the show's the best!
Yeah.
And it was. But I didn't like the designs of the last show, and that show ended up being truly, truly wonderful. Like, not from a kid's standpoint, just from like an all-ages standpoint. Great show. So I'm going to base the designs on content. If the content is good, I'm happy. If the content is bad, then come to hell.
Wow, that's aggressive.
It's true, though. Like, I'm not gonna, be like, not my Ninja Turtles. Like, we'll see.
Get off my yard.
There's been a bunch of iterations. It doesn't matter. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, then it's bad. But I'm not going to base my opinion on character design. I'm not particularly on board for them, but I'm not going to,
Maybe they'll grow on you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I mean, these are still shots on an internet website.
But that'll do it for this week. If you want to, find us on the internet, editorsnotecomics.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I actually posted on Instagram this week.
That was a shock.
Yeah, shocking to everyone.
It said, I got a push notification.
Did it really? It's like, this
posted
guy
for
who
the first time in a long time.
This guy who doesn't use Instagram that much used Instagram.
That's pretty much what it was, yeah.
Yeah, editorsnotecomics.com, iTunes. YouTube doesn't matter anymore. I'm never going to get money off of that. Who the hell cares? Maybe you got introduced to the show via YouTube, but
you've gotten
real
salty on YouTube in the recent weeks.
They changed how they pay out.
Times are changing, Zach.
The times they are a-changing, and I'm kind of against it. If you could, rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, every little bit helps. Gets us a little bit more noticed. We're so fancy, we just want to be noticed.
Do you have any Valentine's Day specials coming up at the store? Buy your sweetheart a comic book?
No, but it is my birthday next week, so there's going to be a thing.
A thing?
A thing.
Oh, really?
Some kind of, saving money thing.
Ooh, a birthday special.
For me. Buy me a present, I'll put it out soonish.
You say if you buy you a present, you'll put out?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, wow. That's a hell of a deal. 210 Water Street in Hollowell.
I'll be putting a thing up online. Get ready for next week.
Yes.
Whatever.
And I'm on Twitter.
What am I going to do with that? Yeah, you're on Twitter.
At Junior Rich.
Look out. He's not going to tweet because football's done.
No, I'll still tweet. In fact, little do you know, I have now stolen your coveted Jack Kirby stationery, and I've doodled on it.
You son of a bitch. We'll be back next week to finish off Kevin Smithathon. The thong. Thong.
No. I'm already sick, and now I'm really sick.
Sick of my bullshit.
Yep.